It's the Neighbors Podcast with Reese and Mike. They discussing different issues that affect our streets and life. Said it's the Neighbors. We the Neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's going on, y'all?
Top of the morning.
Hey, y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in with us.
Truly appreciate it.
Most definitely. So, Mike, I've been looking at a lot of YouTubes lately.
Okay.
And I've been noticing some a trend, if you will. And you know how you look at one thing and then stuff starts popping up and you start seeing a whole bunch of it, right?
Right.
So one night I was just chilling. Everybody sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go back to sleep. So I'm just scrolling through YouTube or whatever else. Mm-hmm. That's been my favorite social media platform recently.
No Likewise.
And so what I noticed, I had looked at this one video where there were parents fussing out school district or the school boards, mm-hmm. right? And one of the topics that they were talking about was the school board making decisions to take certain books out of the libraries.
Right.
So they're taking out stuff like the Bibles and, math books or whatever else, but they're replacing them with books that really support these kids being transgender. And I mean, it's a lot of videos out there about that, and that's across the United States. And so it made me think about where our kids, being in high school, right. I didn't want to go all the way back to elementary because a lot of this stuff is happening in elementary and middle schools, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the thought was, if I just went back to high school, because I really think that their high school mm-hmm. really pushed that that genre, that idea, mm-hmm. if you will. They really supported that. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily being transgender, but just on
that level.
Right. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on pushing these little kids into that space? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on that is it's not up to the schools, it's up to the parents. What happened to the thing called privacy? Mm-hmm. And we know so much going on. I have, with the transgender and everything, LGBTQ, whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. But you don't have the right to teach these kids. Oh, it's okay. Go ahead. You want to be a little girl? Go ahead. Fine.
Right.
I mean,
right.
No. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. You got to let the parent be a parent. That's their child, not yours.
And that's one of the arguments. It's like, hey, how does a school board dictate what's best for my kid?
Right.
You don't know my values. You don't know what we have going on. So how are you going to push this agenda to change, what we had?
Right.
And there's one lady, she was so adamant. She said, you have strictly separated my child from me. Because this one teacher was saying, hey, you can, turn this little girl into a boy. Mm-hmm. This is the way this parent put it. You turn my girl to a boy. And when my daughter wanted to come and say something to me about it, the teacher said, don't say nothing to your parent. That was crazy.
That is crazy. So wow.
Right. So how do you deal with that?
You know what? That's a very good question, but it's like I can't give you the answer because, it's me and you. We're not going through that.
Right.
We don't know. So basically, we need to talk to somebody whose child is going through that.
Right.
Because we can't give you anybody can give you the answers, but you got to give the correct answer. Mm-hmm. Anybody can say, oh, well, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's deeper than that.
Right.
You have to talk to that person and see. You got to talk to the parent. Mm-hmm. But the schools don't have no right. It just seems like, to me, it's like a political gender now.
Right.
Oh, okay. They sit around a round table. Hey, okay. Let's do something stupid. Yeah, we can pass it. It seems crazy, but that's right. What it seems like it is now.
Right.
It's like you're not. These schools is not showing respect for the parents.
I mean, well, here's the question though. what did the parents do to deserve respect, especially during the pandemic? I mean, I understand. I'm just. I mean, that doesn't excuse anything,
Right.
right? But if you think about how many parents were not happy with the teachers teaching the kids or whatever else, well,
right.
listen, well, you should be in control of your kid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Because some of these kids, they did virtual during the pandemic and still fail.
Right,
That's all you gotta do. Roll over, set the alarm, roll
Right.
over, go to class, and go back to sleep. You can't
Right.
even do that. So basically,
no,
they talk about learning is better in schools. Your child doing the same thing.
right. It's just that they're dressed,
That's it.
but they still going to school, put their head on the desk.
If that,
That's it. Or even if they even if they don't go into the building,
right?
they might not even
Right.
go into the building.
Exactly.
Go to their friend house, put their head down.
Right.
You know.
It's like I don't know. Even though both sides, the parents got to be a parent, and the school just got to be supportive of the parents.
Right.
But I can understand some of these parents. They lost control of their child. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I think it's just real weird of how they're trying to dictate what you can do. Like, you're going to push that agenda, but you can't pray. You can't, discipline. All these things that you can't do.
Right.
Right. And now you're going to push this idea. I have nothing against it.
Right.
You get what I mean? Like, if someone feels as though that's their preference.
Right.
It's interesting that, the United States is pushing this agenda, but if you look at almost all the other countries around the world, they're against it.
Like one country, they ain't going for it. Russia.
Look, I mean, there were some African countries said they're not doing it.
Right.
They actually outlawed it pretty much.
Right.
So when you look at this agenda, what is the agenda? What's the idea?
Yeah, and plus also, what's the purpose of doing it?
I have no clue. I have no clue. I really don't know. If you even went with this young lady, I can't remember her name. I want to say Riley. I think it's Riley. But the young lady that was at the swim meet, and this transgender individual won.
Yeah.
And how she was upset that they pushed her to the side to uplift this individual.
Right.
So now there's such a big argument, a big fight about, regardless if you're transgender, you're still a guy.
Right. Then I heard they taking hormones to decrease
Right.
their whatever you call
Right.
it of a man. I'm like, out to me, how you do that? I mean, you still got the strength of a man.
And that's
if I'm
what
not
this one
mistaken.
person said. I was looking at again our YouTube
Right.
life. Where this gentleman, he was in a circle with other women,
Right.
and he was talking. She was talking about how she had been taking hormones
Right.
for over 20 years, and she said she's still the same size as she was in high school as she is today. That's even after taking the hormones. And that she said before she had taken the hormones, consistently,
Mhm.
yes, it made her weaker to some degree. But before she took the hormones, she was able to lift a V8 engine out of a car.
Oh wow.
Now, he's like, he could do a 4-cylinder engine.
Oh.
I did. You get what? But still, how strong is that?
Yeah,
That's
this
still
is true.
really strong.
It's still really strong. Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
So not saying a woman born a woman can't do that.
Right.
But how far do they have to go to just get to that point?
Right. Yeah.
You get what I mean? So that's really interesting that how they're pushing this agenda. And for what? Like, what's the outcome?
Right.
Is it I mean, the way I look at it, this is just my own opinion. Is this how you control the population?
Yeah. How about that?
I don't know. It's just an
How about
idea.
that? Yeah. I mean, I can't say it's getting out of hand, but I just only way Well, I can understand if like a person is transgender, explain it to us. How they
Right.
feel, how they go, go about doing it.
Right.
I'm not gonna get up there, give you the wrong answer to the question because I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not
I don't
asking
know.
for a whole answer um, for us to be judgmental
Right.
or anything like that. But it's just a question because again, one of them late night videos,
Right.
and then
Right.
once you watch one, of course, now all of a
Oh
sudden
yeah,
you're getting
yeah. Like you binge watching.
right,
Oh yeah.
because now like all of a sudden
Right.
YouTube algorithm starts sending you all these different ones,
Different ones, right?
and you're
right,
like,
right.
well, what is that about?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, the I don't know, I don't know,
I mean, my best bet is like I said, talk to a person that's going through that,
you're right,
and they can give a better explanation or definition or whatever you can call the process or whatever. They can fully explain it to us because I'm not gonna sit up there and assume, oh well, yeah, you just want to be a girl. No, it's deeper than that.
right,
It's deeper than that. But this situation with the schools, the school board, they don't have no right. What just worry about? Worry about teaching, math, stuff like that? That's really more important. I mean, you're not gonna get hey, you're a transgender. Here goes your degree.
right.
Come on,
I mean, and you know what's even deeper in this whole space again, this whole like you said binge watching thing, right? They were talking about how in sports they probably need to create a different lane now in sports. You got men's, women, and then transgender.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Get like transgender. Everybody who's transgender can play that sport. They,
Right.
Man,
I mean,
idea.
because in reality that levels the field.
And plus, they'd be more competitive against other transgenders.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. You leveled the field.
Right.
And they were talking about how they were referencing Serena Williams. Was she on Jimmy Fallon? I can't remember what talk show she was on, but they referenced her because she said, "Hey, do you want to, place a male in tennis?" She said, "No, I can't do that. The tennis game is way different.
It's totally different.
You know." So she's like, "There's no way I can compete."
Right.
So this lady that's in this whole swimming thing, you can understand why she probably feels that way.
Right. Right.
You can.
Right.
You get what I mean? So I think that's I just think that is interesting that you're starting it so young.
Yeah.
In elementary school.
Yeah, I know why elementary school. I mean, I could see really like junior high school, something like that, but elementary school, they still trying to figure it out, 1 and 1 is 2.
Right. Right.
That don't make sense. Why basically the school board is like trying to brainwash the kids.
Right. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean you can't.
That's what it feels like.
And you can't do that. This is why these parents going off. I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean I don't blame them either. Because if you're really going to push that type of agenda, then what happens 20, 30, 40 years from now?
Right.
And let's look at it like this too. In all honesty, how many of us would love to have grandkids?
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
So, when you sit back and be like, hey, this is what I have done legacy-wise.
Right.
Kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, if you're blessed to be here that long, you want to see that.
Right.
You want to experience that.
Right.
So you're going to take away my dream because of what?
Yeah. But, there's always the second alternative. You can always adopt.
You can. So, I mean, so
I understand
so
the natural going through the natural phases.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
It's totally crazy, but
and so how would you feel, if your daughter came home and said, "Now I want to be a boy"? Like I don't know how I would feel if my daughter said that.
Be honest,
to
me either. Me either.
I don't know.
Me either.
I know that my daughter questioned her sexuality at one time.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Whether or not she was into girls and things like that, but that was short lived.
Right.
And part of that was her surroundings, who she was hanging around with.
Right.
You know, you get what I mean?
Right.
And I think most people go through that. You know, you're a teenager, you questioning everything anyway. You know, so, but for her to say, hey, you know, I would prefer to be a boy, I'm not sure how I would feel.
Likewise. Be honest. Likewise. The thing is, it might feel like, okay, what did I do wrong? That thought will be in the back of your head. What did I do wrong?
Right. I mean, especially in when you haven't been around that.
Right.
You know, well, what happened? Like, you know, I listen to some people talk about, hey, you know, they were molested or raped and things like that. So I can understand
Right.
in certain situations.
Right.
You get what I mean? But it's just interesting, just this type of topic.
Yeah,
you know?
It is. It is.
You know, and again, we're not trying to condemn nobody.
Nah.
You know, as you see, we're not trying to impose our thoughts and our values and say, hey, you know what? You know, we're Democrat but conservative, or we're conservative but, you know, or liberal but Republican, you know, whatever the situation is.
Your life is your life.
Right.
You know, you control it the way you control it. You walk that path the way you walk that path.
Right.
But we don't have the right to say, oh, that's wrong, blah blah. We can't, like you said, we're not being judgmental.
Right. Right.
You know, you make your own decisions.
Right. You know, and this is America.
Right.
It is America. You know, you have a choice. But, you know, do you have to impose your choice on someone else?
Right.
And let alone someone else's kid.
Yeah, that's the crazy
You know,
part.
see, that's the part right there where, you know, you don't, you know, you could do sometimes you could do stuff to the adult.
Right.
And they'll let it go by.
They'll let it
let
go
you
by.
let you do something to the kid, oh, the world it's gonna end.
Right. Right. Well, you know, you got some people do some strength. No, that's another topic. That's another topic. So,
you know, but I would love to know what y'all thoughts are on this topic, man. You know, it's really strange to me.
it's very ordinary. It's just I can't explain it. You can't explain it. So
I can't.
So-
I don't get the agenda. I don't see the long term.
Nah.
I don't see that. I don't see how that works.
Right.
You get what I mean?
You leave that up to the parent. If they want their little boy to be a girl, that's up to them. That's their job.
Right.
You don't teach it that in school.
Right.
That's something that's private.
Right. You get what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, and everybody don't want their business out there.
Right. So, you know, is somebody on the school board? Are they going through the same thing? We wouldn't.
I don't know.
We wouldn't know.
And see, here's what's interesting though, because I'm only seeing the snippets. I don't actually hear the school board, except for like one or two videos.
Okay.
What the school board's responses are.
Right.
Now out of those one or two videos, like there was one school board chairperson. He was like, "You need to get off the stage and you're disruptive." Well, no, you need to have this person speak.
Exactly. That's why they have school board meetings.
Right.
The parent, teacher, come on now. They got the right to stand up and talk.
Right.
Especially when it's about their child.
Right.
Their neighbor's child, whatever the situation is. But it just seems too political for a certain degree.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You know?
I see politics in it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think like, hey, is it a form of population control? You get what I mean?
Right. Which is still strange. I mean,
well, again, you know, if you think about it though, in some ways, what's the strongest part of a community? When you have the whole family together.
Right.
You know, and when you start breaking it apart, their buying power and everything else changes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You get what I mean? You know, so if the family stays together, their buying power is a lot stronger.
Right.
And then next thing you know, so if you pay attention to what's going on, where all these major companies are buying up all real estate.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? You know, they're tearing down houses to build all these mega houses. You know,
just like over Swole, New Jersey.
Right.
Wow. And them people ain't happy about that over there. They're not happy. Big factory in the back of their house. They don't see like nice, farmland.
Right.
Stuff like that. Yeah, you're right.
You know, but hey, you know, again, eminent domain or some of those other terms that people use for stuff like that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What you gonna do? It's like it feel like you can't do nothing. When you can voice your opinion, okay, well, we get back to you. Okay.
Right.
They're just basically putting you on hold.
Right.
So.
Right. So yeah. So let us know what y'all thoughts are.
Truly do. Just
This is crazy. For me.
And for me.
I'm not sure how I would take it, to be honest. My kids are no longer in, those grades, if you will.
Right.
Like we have kids that's about to graduate college.
Right. Man, oh, man.
But here's the reality though. We don't know what they got to deal with by the time they have kids.
Right.
Whether it's they birthed it or adoption or whatever.
Right.
Right. We don't know. Like, that's going to be crazy. I have a niece that my brother's oldest daughter, her son is 1. He'll be 1 in June. So 3, 4, 5 more years, he'll be in school.
Yeah.
So what is that experience is going to be like?
Right.
So it's not like, hey, I'm that far removed from it.
Right.
Or see the experience from that. Oh, it'll be shortly.
Right.
It will. So, but, thank y'all very much for listening to us today. And we will talk to y'all later.
Peace.
You are the agent and we look for change. You conquered the pressure and you did not fall, but you are a diamond and worth more than gold.